Let's begin our stories this morning with our climate focus series. The Pan-African and Transdisciplinary Lens in the Margins, Tackling the Risks of Extreme Events project has begun, aiming to integrate local knowledge and community needs into disaster preparedness and adaptation plans in the White Volta Basin. And the project is engaging stakeholders and communities in 30 areas across 4 regions in northern Ghana to address the impact of floods and droughts on marginalized communities. Mohammed Mahmoud Nuruddin has today's edition of Climate Focus.
Abdallah Saka from Zantani and Idrisu Abubakari Zakari from Wala in the northern region have experienced extreme weather conditions, with Abdallah facing devastating floods and Idrisu struggling with prolonged drought.
As we see in our area, there is a drought because many farmers, our main business is farming.
The only livelihood that we depend on is the farming. And during flooding, all our farm products will be washed away and the farmers and the community members will be suffering.
Abdallah describes the impact as great and unimaginable.
They also suffer to get to hospitals. And at this time, when it is flooding, the whole community will be suffering. No access road that will lead us to the markets where we can sell the remaining farm products that we have. During the flooding hour, the whole community, the whole electoral area will submerge in water, especially during the opening of Bagri Dam. The people there is in hell. I'm telling you, they are in hell. We are not part of Ghanaians.
Ariku Martin Akudugu is my name. 2016 National Best Farmer, first runner-up.
In September and October 2020, floods destroyed his 500 acres of maize and rice field in the Upper East region.
This is my farmland, a little over 500 acres of land that I cultivated maize and rice. The maize were 320 acres. The rice was around 180. We also have mango plantation, as you can see. We lost everything through the floods.
Ariku Martin Akudugu was left devastated at home, wondering how to start all over again. The flood was caused by the Bagri Dam spillage in Burkina Faso and the heavy downpour experienced between September and October 2020.
In fact, the amount of money I invested in this was almost about 450,000 Ghana cedis. And what I was expecting to harvest at the end of the cropping season was around 3,600 bags of maize and 3,200 bags of rice. That would have been what I was expecting to harvest at the end of the season. The amount of money I would have at least as income would have been somewhere around 2.6 million Ghana cedis per the investment I made.
So this is the
3 PhD students from the Department of Meteorology and Climate Science at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Samuel Owusu and Sir Joshua Asamoah and Alfred Ewua, are researching on floods, drought and their impact on livelihoods on residents.
Actually, my research proposal is focused on flooding, and the focus would centers on the marginalized communities within the White Volta Basin. And we have seen that there have been a number of researches that have been carried out, and their focus would either come from the physical science or the social science. But this particular research project is trying to address the impact on the marginalized community, especially those who are very highly vulnerable.
I'm focusing on the assessment of drought impacts on marginalized communities within the White Volta Basin. So basically, we've seen lots of research on flood within the White Volta Basin, how the spillage of the Bagri Dam causes flood issues in the northern portions of Ghana. But most of the time, we leave out the impact of drought within this same area. So my project seeks to fill this gap by contributing to knowledge on drought within the White Volta Basin, where we assess and quantify drought intensity, severity, frequency, duration, and also identify some drivers of drought within the area.
Now this project is so important because having looked at the physical and social drivers that bring about the climate change, what is the impact or the effect on the people in the catchment area? We all know that most of the people in the catchment area are engaging in agricultural activities. And we know that when there is a flood or a drought in agriculture catchment area, most of their produce are lost. Now those people, they have only one mean of livelihood, that is mostly the agric or the farming.
Since most of the population within the Volta Basin relies on agriculture, extreme weather events like floods and droughts resulting in significant crop losses impacting their primary source of income. Samuel, Joshua and Alfred's works seek to build resilience among these communities as they are highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate-related disasters and have limited livelihood options.
So we need to build a resilience for these people. We need to make sure we come out with adaptation strategy so that in the near future they can survive the climate extreme that is happening globally, and for that matter Ghana, and for that matter the White Basin as a catchment.
So we are aiming at trying to build their resistance to be able to thrive this changing climate within the White Volta Basin.
So a project that was done by WMO through funding from Adaptation Fund, which is called the Water Flood and Drought Management Project, is indicating that in the current climate we are getting about 20,000 to 50,000 animals which are affected by drought every year. And if you consider crop yield too, we are seeing about 5 to about 7% reduction in crop yield as a result of drought. But this information was gathered over the entire basin area, and the subdivisions that you get is for the regions. You are not able to tell that this community is affected this much, or this is how much flood or drought affects these particular areas within the community. So this research is trying to bring it down to the communities to assess drought impact for each community, and also assess the drought impact on livelihood and different gender groups within these communities. So we want to understand the differential impact of drought within the communities for the White Volta Basin.
Why did we coin this acronym or the name of the project palm tree? I hope we all know what a palm tree is.
One of the leading researchers, Professor Thompson Ano at the Department of Meteorology and Climate Science, leads the research using a multi-method approach to create risk narratives and improve climate modeling. The methods combine existing demographic and health surveys with new data from participatory analysis, mapping, focus group, and multi-level modeling.
We are talking about the people that are most vulnerable. So these are the people that we are targeting. And then looking at how they are impacted by flood and then drought, we will put certain adaptation strategies in place so that it will build their resilience.
He knows that current interventions for drought and flood-affected communities are often short-term and inadequate, providing temporary relief but failing to address the underlying issues which persist long after the initial support has ended.
Most of the time when there is flood or there is drought, some of the interventions that they receive are short-lived. Within a few months, few years, they are gone. And when it comes again, then it comes to the same issue. This time we want to build their capacity so that they can cope with it and then sustain it so that their livelihood will be better.
Professor Arno stresses the need for community cooperation, collaboration and sharing of experience throughout the project to guarantee the development of effective solutions and interventions that foster resilience and benefit the communities themselves.
Our expectation from them is one, their cooperation. And also to give us the ground truth. So we will go to them, go to households and then ask some questions. All that we expect from them is to give us exactly what has happened or what they think is happening. So we want their utmost cooperation. After we have finished, we also want them to utilize whatever we will do for them to better their lives. Look at the compound effect. So flood, heat wave, droughts are devastating in Africa, and climate change may fuel or increase their impact in the future.
A report by Mohammed Nuruddin.
There are groups of people who are consistent.
And that's that for our latest edition of Climate Focus. But remember, Ghana, that the biggest giveaway from Syntex Tank is underway. Syntex is giving 15 communities free water. And this is to say thank you, Ghana, for making us the #1. Syntex was the first to introduce double-layer tanks in Ghana. Do you know that Syntex also come in so many colors and was also the first to come out with inner white layer? So when it's not Syntex, forget about it. Now, if you're a community and you want to benefit from the Syntex free water giveaway, just log into their social media handles, Syntex Ghana, and nominate your community. The more you nominate, the better chances you have of getting Syntex tank in your community. Remember, it's Syntex, S-I-N-T-E-X, Syntex tank. Not be any tank be tanko. The correct tank be Syntex tank. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough. We take a quick break, we'll return with our big stories. Stay tuned.